Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Skyblock Sun on the Sibling Stand channel. My name is Wingless and oh boy, man, things have been busy. We've been trying to grind and make sure that we've gotten things moving ahead. The changes that they made this season regarding islands has made a huge difference on how to move forward, and this is something that I want to bring up to a lot of people as to the advantages and disadvantages of leveling up your island. Last season, the way that you upgraded your island was not dependent on the level of your island, so you were able to focus on doing the farming or other quests to upgrade your island, so you were able to get the space that you needed and all of the stuff upgraded for crop selling, multipliers, generators, all that stuff. But this season it's tied up to the leveling of the island for what increases. So I figured let's have a bit of a breakdown of that and talk about it, and then talk to this guy, Mr. Island Level guy over here, who's now in prison because he's made me have to level up constantly. But he'll be the one to handle all of the island levels, but also all of the perks that you need to move forward. Let's take a look and get started. Woo! But yeah, I thought these NPCs need to be in cages, because they shouldn't be here on my island. If you're going anywhere throughout the whole island, you can just do /is level just to bring up the island level prompt instead of talking to the gentleman who's in the cage right now. He might not be in a cage on your island, he's just in a cage in mine. But yes, you can go to that and take a look at all of the options that are available to you for the island. You'll see that when you start, you have really a base amount, and this had changed at the start of the season, and they've kind of equalized what's happening this season now. But when you start, you have the island member cap at 3 and a lot of other options that have been added that weren't there previously when you level up your islands. But we'll go through it in order just to give it an idea of what they do. So the first one is simple enough. It's the max placed robots. These are the robots that do not count towards the ones that are in the mines. The miner robots are their own kind of separate entities, but the lumberjack robot, the farm robot, and the grinder robot all count to the max placement of this. So in this case, if you were still at island level 1, you would only be able to place 4 of them. The sell multiplier is the general sell multiplier for when you're selling items while on your island. This counts for any items that you sell. There's another one later on that's crop specific. That's an additional multiplier that is added for crops to give you that additional boost in sales for crops. That's why early on, getting a farm going and selling for crops while you're leveling up is a way to get more money than you would on other methods like grinder. But it's still good if you have a grinder to get those running as well, but the farmer robots can help you as well. Next one is just the cave level. That's related to the ores and the functionality of the cave that's on your island that you can't destroy. The more you level up, the more bonuses you'll have that's cave specific, and you can find those information and breakdowns when you talk to the cave explorer inside the cave. We're not going to focus on that today, but just know that once you've leveled up your island, it'll have an option sometimes to level up the cave level, and then you could check inside with the cave explorer to see what has been increased at that point. We already spoke about the island member cap. Now you got the power boost. The power boost is just a passive energy given for the generator. That means that without needing any fuel, you'll always have plus 50, and this will increase more and more as the level ups happen, and this helps make the fuel more efficient because it's not as strained when you use it, but also give you that passive power so that when you're out of fuel, you're still getting a bit of power that's produced naturally. Afterwards, you've got the power multiplier. This increases as the level go up for your island, and this makes your generator just more efficient and a lot stronger when it comes to the fuel that you do utilize, as well as even the passive energy that you're given. Then you've got spawner speed, and if you have fuel in your island generator and you're increasing the power to make things spawn faster or produce faster with the robots, the spawner speed has also its neutral kind of passive speed that you can increase as well, and this will help really drop the spawners and the mobs faster, especially if you're dealing with a grinder for like a blaze grinder or other mobs that you're dropping to try to get their drops from them as well faster rather than waiting on them. The spawner speed will help you have those drop faster than before. Then there's the max spawner level. This is related specifically to the level that you're able to upgrade the spawners before. For those of you that are familiar on other islands or other servers, the way that they work would be sometimes purchasing the spawner and then merging them by booping one spawner with another. And this was the case for this server a while back, but then a couple of seasons ago, they made it so that you would use credits to upgrade the spawner itself instead of buying more spawners and just placing them together until they were maxed out. So that's been the big change this time around. And then in this case, there's a limit to it specifically. So you just have to spend the credits for the spawner, but you have a max amount of what you can do for those spawners. Now, I mentioned it earlier, but there's the crop sell multiplier, and this is specific just for the crops that gives you a little bit more money when you're selling it. If you're selling off the robots with the sell wand, you do get that increase as well from them, and that's actually something that's really positive. Big tip, the robots themselves usually have a fortune function on them as well. So when you have the fortune of the robots, plus the crop sell multiplier, plus the passive multiplier, plus your wands multiplier, plus any other boosts and multipliers that you have, like boosters that you're using, whatever, it can add up and it can give you a good chunk of money when you need to start things for your island. So don't dismiss farming robots, don't dismiss crops. They are viable, especially if you're willing to be active and manage a farm. You can get those picked up by a crop hopper or a CBU, and while you won't have the multiplier by the robot, you will be making a lot of money just by accumulating it, and that income makes a big difference than something that doesn't have the crop multiplier off of that. So it is very beneficial to just sell crops early on because it does give a significant amount of money. It's really good on an early stage setup for your island. Crop growth speed. This is something that last season I would focus immediately on, because the faster your crop can grow and go through its process until it's matured, the faster you can gather them and get that money in and sell it very quickly, either by being gathered by the crop hopper or the collection box. Well, this is what will increase that speed as your island levels up, the amount of times that it will refresh and start going through the growth phases for it to move forward. So this is really important, especially if you're focusing early on farming. The crop growth speed will get faster and faster as the island level goes up, so that you're able to pick those things up and sell them faster, thus making more money faster, so long as you're up to grinding and making sure that you're on top of getting the farms taken care of as soon as they have matured. Then the redstone limit here, it says 10 times with a multiplication. I think that might be a incorrect visual indicator, but it is a bit of like the limit of how much redstone you can use, and it does increase later on, and so you can do more complicated redstone stuff, but you are going to have a limitation of how much redstone you can use within your space. The next one is the max number of hoppers. This takes into account not just the regular hoppers, but the crop hoppers and the mob hoppers as well. In this season, they've removed the ore hoppers, so that one just doesn't get used anymore. But this is the amount of hoppers that you can use, and there's a lot of people that use hoppers to try to move things along or do a grinding setup where the items fall down and go into chests just by using regular hoppers. This is something I've done in previous seasons that you can see in my videos, and it's been very useful when you don't have any of the special hoppers like a mob hopper, which tends to be a little bit harder to get from the higher keys than a crop hopper, which you can get fairly straightforward at the beginning, which is very useful when you don't have a collection box yet, and then you just set it up so that it gets accumulated inside a double chest with a regular hopper, and you can just string those and connect those. But after a while, depending on how big you make your farm, you might be using way too many hoppers, and so you do have a limitation here. And in this case, when you're at island level 1, you only have 50. One of the biggest things as well is that your island size. You start only having a 50 by 50 area from the center of your island. If you destroy your island like I've done, you'll see that there's a bedrock piece that's underneath. Let's go see it actually. So yeah, you'll have this little bedrock piece. This is the center of it, and around this area you'll have the size of your island, how big and wide you can have it. So when you start, it's going to be at 50, and that's the space that you're with unless you level up your island. Now that we've gone through all the perks, you can see that a lot of those options can help you a lot with the growth of your island and your strength on this server. So as you grow your island and your island levels, you'll see that the benefits of it will help you. Unlike last season, you would focus on some of the individual increases and not have to worry about the level up of your island. Well, this season, it is tied directly to it, and so it's even more important this season to level up your island to help get those multipliers going. Now, we've been looking at the level 1 upgrades at the moment, but let's just say we get to, let's skip to 100. Looking at 100, you can see that a lot of increases happen in a lot of areas before that, but you'll see that a bulk of the increases are every 100 levels, and one of the critical ones you'll see is your island size. The more space you have in your island, the bigger you can make farms, or the bigger you can make spawner drops, or grinders, or the stuff that you need to improve and increase the amount of money that you're making. And so being able to have that space and those things going on should help you move forward even faster. The more space that you have, the better you can set yourself up for bigger projects to help you make more money. You'll see that there's a lot of things that have been upped since then, where once you get to 100, you've got more robots that you can place since the start. Your cell multiplier is 0.40, which might not seem like a lot, but that's free money that you now have that you're using that you wouldn't have had otherwise. The cave level would have increased, so you probably have a few different more ores working out. You're able to add a few more members into your team at this point, which, by the way, in this season, the cap is already at 5. So once you reach at island level 100, that's the max amount that you're able to get. You can see the power boost is at 500 increase from the start, but you also have the multiplier of 2 times, meaning your fuel and your energy is going just a little bit faster and a little bit further than it did before. The spawner speed is slightly faster, so that is going to help you in this case with getting drops happening a lot more. You can also have your spawners be a lot bigger than 100 from the get-go. You'll see it by island level 100. You're basically having a additional crop multiplier of 1.5, meaning you're basically getting a 50% increase in anything that you're selling, which means even more money for the stuff that you get. So if you're able to maximize the type of crops that you're getting 50% more on top of the other multipliers that you have that you're utilizing, either for boosters or the passive one or your sell one. So all that adds up big time with getting a lot of funds and money very quickly. And then there's the other increases, like specifically, again, the island size is much bigger, and then have more hoppers that can be used as well in the beginning. All of these are so helpful in increasing how things move forward for you, and you should continue looking into doing that. Is it going to cost money? Is it going to be a lot? Yes, but there's things that you can do to move those forward and getting more credits. And again, if you have miner robots that are working passively in the back as well, early on, you can have those passively upgrade your island, and then at some point it'll just help subsidize some of the amount of funds that you have when you're spending it. But then your credits that you've gained from farming or your setups could start helping leveling up your island fast. Now, we reached level 200 in under 10 days, and that was focusing on a lot of growth in the farms and the other methods that we've had to increase. Since you can only make credits off of your island, there's no trading or anything. That means we had to work on the island to make sure that we got those credits going, and we ended up working to make sure that we got robots and making sure we got farms and multiple methods of doing so. We've shown that in some of our live stream already this season, and we'll show a little bit more as we move forward. But at this time, you have loads of options to move yourself forward and take a look at what you can do once you've upgraded. And if you reach island level 200, as we did, all of the island increases are there that are helping us even more so. And the increments that you go into, especially by the 50s and the 100s, you can see how much it can help you a lot. Max place robots are 24. Our island are using grinder robots with mobs, so we are using a good amount of robots at this point, and I think we're using half of the numbers here just on the grinder robots, if not more. The cell multiplier is higher. That means additional free money. The cave levels are higher. That means we now have gold, lapis, coal, and iron that can be mined by the robots, which increases passive income as well. Our power boost is at 1,000. That's a little less fuel that we need to use in case we run out of fuel or in case we need that extra boost for power. But then we've got the multiplier at 3 times. Our spawner speeds is a quarter faster now, so it's 25% more efficient in getting those items from there. We have the ability to go up on a higher spawner level, but at this point, it's so high that we're not even going to be at that anytime soon because it costs so much more money to get that high. But at the end of the day, the fact that we could have one area, one chunk with one spawner be at that high is very useful if you weren't going to be using any fuel at all. So it's possible that you're building a farm or a method that is only specific to using the levels and not using the energy. Well, this is the way to go. You would have to go that high. 2 times crop sell multiplier by level 200. That means everything that you sell is double of everything else, and that's on top of the sell multiplier that you get already on top of it. So lots of increases. Your crop growth speed increases again as well by a little bit, and then all the other options, but more specifically, your island size increases again. I can't stress enough that having that space is important, because once you get bigger, especially if you're working with teammates, you can have them AFK in other zones to increase the amount of money that you are making. And that's really important, and that will really help you if you're focused really on getting on top island and really getting ahead. We are focused on the island top. You can check right now, we're not there, but there's a reason we're not there, because we're going to be zooming past them soon because we're focused on getting all of that set up. I know there's a lot of people that are on island top that are really, really good with their islands, and they have fantastic designs already. So I'm not saying that none of you guys aren't already set up, but if you're not, don't be surprised if other islands pass you on island top if that's what your focus is. So that's what I wanted to bring up this episode for people. I've had a lot of talks with those on my Discord server about like what goals to have, what do we move forward for? And it used to be that being able to do the island upgrades was a focus before, but now since it's integrated with the island levels, it just shifts that a little bit and have the goals work with making sure that your island produces enough credits that you can level up your island to make even more credits and even more improvements as well. Also, don't make your goals based off other people's islands, and don't be discouraged by it. For several seasons, what I was doing is that I would work on improving myself each season and then see where I can go from there. Now I've gone to the point where I'm able to stay at the top as high as possible because I've learned a lot of things, but this was done from previous seasons and talking to people and interacting and being part of communities like our Discord channel on the Siblings Den channel. So if you're wanting to chat with other people, get an idea of what to do, or just have a good time talking with other people as you figure things out on the server, let us know. And also, we like talking about other things as well, or showing goofy images and stuff like that. If that's something you like to do as well, don't hesitate to join us and let us know. It'd be fun. With that, that's all I've got for you today. I hope this is helpful for those that are very curious on to what they should do, but also help them kind of gauge on additional help that they might have not realized would be useful. And the island leveling up is absolutely useful, and it's gotten us much more increases now that we've reached island level 200. So if you're not at island 200 yet, make that a minor goal. See how high you can get before the end of the server resets, which won't be anytime soon. It's still fresh, only been 10 or 11 days, but see how high you can go and then work to progress on that. Already from last season, we went from 100 levels in 10 days to 200 levels in 10 days. So already we've reached a very huge milestone, and we're looking forward to seeing how fast we can do it next season and see what new changes come up with the server. And it'll be super fun, and we'll make sure to keep on top of those videos to show where we're at and what's going on. Have a wonderful day, be safe, enjoy yourselves, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. Woo. Yeah.